Hello, Internet, and I'm back again with our Mondays of double meanings. I don't know what to call this whole little series thing. So I'm not going to do a questions today. I am going to do a Furies and Frustrations. I am just really frustrated with what I'm about to talk about. It irritates me to no end. It is a big pet peeve of mine. If you know the answer, then tell me why people do this. But otherwise, I think I am now informing you of an issue and you need to fix yourself because no one should be doing this anymore. So my biggest problem, the thing I am frustrated about today, is I am really bothered when people give book quotes. A lot of times when people give book quotes, they leave out the character. And I'm just like, why would you quote something from a book but not name the character who is quoting the thing from the book? They usually just give the author name, and I'm just like, no, stop doing that. First, cite your sources. Like, what if I think this quote is really entertaining and I want to see where it comes from? I can't find that now because all you say is it's by J.K. Rowling. I don't know which book it's from. I don't know what character said this. I don't know what the whole inference, what it's implying, what the situation is that they are saying these lines. Like, maybe there is a deeper meaning if you read this quote in context. But now I have no way of ever finding that out because you didn't cite your sources. So one, have the author's name? Yes, you need that. 2, have the book title's name so I can know which book it is. Because sometimes authors write more than one book and I can't figure out which book you're quoting from because you just say the author's name. So that's in itself and is frustrating. But the biggest pet peeve of mine is, why don't you people write down the character name? And you might be thinking, well, it was written by the author, so no. Just because an author writes something doesn't mean that they personally believe that philosophy. They might have a character that they think believes a certain way. Just because J.K. wrote Voldemort doesn't mean that she wants to murder everybody, because just like Voldemort does, but that doesn't mean that's who she is as a person. Like, you see what I'm saying here? Just because you write a book about people and characters and they have their own philosophies doesn't mean that you specifically hold those philosophies. So why you keep quoting the author like they're the one who said this? Like, yes, they said this bright, beautiful thing that you're quoting. Yes, they are the ones who wrote this work, but you probably should write down the character, because if you can figure out what the character is, then maybe you can figure out the philosophy behind what they are saying. It just makes a lot more sense to me if you write down the character name. I'm using Harry Potter as an example because Harry Potter is the book I see quoted most often without any citation given. Like, people will quote Harry Potter quotes to you and all they'll put is J.K. Rowling. And I'm like, did she say this in a speech? Did she write this in a book? Which character said this? Which book did she write this in? Like, did she write fan fiction? And then this is what was in it. Like, you gotta give me some citations here. Because if you're gonna try to give me just some random quote from some author, I'm gonna be like, well, who said it? Because you cannot make a one-on-one comparison of Albus Dumbledore quotes and Harry Potter quotes. Now, can you? No, because yes, they're both written by J.K. Rowling, but they're not the same character. They have different philosophies. You can't compare the two. It is easier to figure out what the mentality behind a quote is if you know what type of person is saying these sort of things. Just like on the average, people made this awesome quote thing, a famous person said something and they're constantly quoted, then you know, oh, they studied this or they were really into this. It makes sense for them to be famous for these words. That's why these words are so powerful in the sense because you know who that person is, right? It gives more power to the words when you can look up and see what type of person they are, and then you're just like, oh, okay, like I see where you're going there. Personally, I believe that you probably should have some context to quotes in the first place, because quotes just are a bunch of words in a sentence, and it makes a lot more meaning, and it is a lot more meaningful if you know where these set of words are coming from what situation they're being said. It means a whole lot more. So I don't know why we don't do the same for book quotes. Yes, it's important to have the author's name. Yes, we're not trying to steal from the author or anything. But we also have to acknowledge that not every character an author writes is a character that the author finds self-resemblance with. Maybe they studied Nietzsche and they don't believe in what Nietzsche is saying, but they write a character who does, and that character who believes in Nietzsche is the one you're quoting. But the author themselves don't believe in that, right? They don't believe what they are having someone else quote. So it makes a lot more sense if you have that character name there, so that the reader, the quote reader, whoever really wants to figure out what the context of that quote is, can look at the character and be like, oh, that's what type of character they are. Lord knows if you had a quote that said, do unto others as you would want done unto you, J.K. Rowling, but turns out that that was said by Lord Voldemort, the words mean something different now, don't they? Don't they? They don't sound so peaceful and nice anymore because you're a little bit suspicious about the person who said it. That's just my point, okay? That's my point. I don't like when people do book quotes because they don't give the right citations. And like, that might be the English major in me talking, but come on, I have been bothered by this since I was a kid. I cannot stand when people give book quotes, but they do not cite what the character who says this quote is, who the author is, and God forbid they don't give us a book. Like, come on, people. Authors write more than one book sometimes. You gotta give me, like, bitch, give me page numbers as well. Give me what edition you're using. Give me page numbers. Give me the whole LMA format so I can go and research this quote to see whether or not I think this quote is worth something to me within context. Maybe I'm the only one bothered by that, but I kind of don't like quotes in general because I'm just like, they're just a bunch of words, right? They are words, they sound pretty, but what makes them powerful and what makes those things powerful, in my opinion, is the context in which people are saying them. Why are they saying these words in this order? For what reason are they even proclaiming this thing? I feel like that gives a whole lot of punch and meaning behind the quote in the first place, and it's a real shame when people just quote things but don't give you a chance, if you want to learn that, a chance to learn that. Like, there have been so many times where I am blind searching quotes because I'm like, that sounds really cool. I want to know when it was said, who it was said by, and like if I want to read the book or something like that because it seems really entertaining. Like, but I can't because none of you leave some citations, cite stuff so the rest of us can look up stuff. Like, it's not that freaking hard. If you can take the time out of your day to type up a whole freaking quote, a whole paragraph quote, you can write down it was said by Mr. Tumblin in which Narnia book and who the author was. Like, it is not that hard. It is 2 extra steps, 3 extra steps. It is not that hard. If you can type out that paragraph, you can type out the character name, the author name, and what freaking book it comes from. I could go on about this forever. It frustrates me to no freaking end. Just write down who the character is. Write down what book it comes from. Write down the author's name. Do all 3 of those. Write down the freaking page number. Give me MLA format. You just have to make sure that I understand where this is coming from. You can't just give me some random quote because I'm not going to be amazed by that. Like, I think it's like false praise when people are just like, oh, that's an amazing quote. Like, bitch, why? I could have said that. So why is it so important now? Like, give me some context for why this is being said, to who it's being said. And I'm more amazed because I'm like, yes, those are really powerful words. Like, words are powerful anyway, but I feel like once we know the context in which words are being said and who is saying these words, it's a lot more meaningful because, there's some people that I wouldn't be caught dead quoting and they probably said something really awesome, but bitch, I ain't quoting you because you're horrible. Like, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about, like, and start doing it. I am telling you now, you are now informed that this is a thing that you should do. Write down the character's name as well as the author's name as well as the book title when you're quoting book quotes. Like, just do it. Just do it. It's not that hard. Just do it. It is so frustrating when I see an awesome book quote, but I can't look up the context of when that quote was quoted because, it just, it bothers me. It bothers me so much. It's so much. As you can tell, I really hate when people do this. So, that is all I got to say here. So if you like what you're seeing here and you want to continue to see more, click all those buttons down below, and goodbye, Internet.